What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Tiny Tim, and I'm back here again. We're going to be talking about Secret Invasion Episode 3. I'm coming at you live from Tiny in the car because I couldn't wait. I was too excited when I watched this episode. I watched it, and I had to jot down some notes, and I wanted to talk to you about it real quick. It ain't going to be, I don't plan for it to be a 20, 30-minute long video because that shit too long. You don't want to see all that. Or do you? Either way, I'm going to try to be brief because, like I said, it's Tiny in the car. Got stuff to do. But I really wanted to touch base with you all and talk to you all about Secret Invasion Episode 3. So last we saw our heroes. Last we saw our villains. I had a couple questions answered and I had a couple more questions to ask. We ended last week's episode finding out that Nick Fury had a wife. She's Skrull, and she been with him since she came to the planet. I had some eye raised situations with her where I wasn't too sure, since we haven't heard but maybe 2 instances in the MCU in the last 10, 20 years. It's just been like, since when? But we see in this episode, they're not really beefing, but she said, yo, you was gone. Same thing Talos said. You was gone. I was here. I became me. I became who I was meant to be. We didn't really get what that meant, but she definitely had some, her little side thing or whatever, ringing her phone. And Fury like, hey, don't let me interrupt that on my account. Hey, pick up the phone. You got a call? You won't get that? So it was like some, what the fuck going on? Like, dude, is Vera, what the fuck is Vera doing? Vera, what are you doing? Right? But whole time, we end up finding out that she linked in with Gravik. She is the source, or at least one of the sources, that was letting Gravik and his people know Fury's back on planet. He's boots on the ground, back on Earth. This is what's going on. But how she knew, I don't know. She's one of. That's why I say one of, because there are some things that still don't seem right with how Gravik and the Revolution know some of the stuff that they know. Last week I asked the questions, what else is Gravik working on? Because he got a doctor, he got different blood and this, that, and third going on. We find out he said it in the episode because he was trying to let the council know, we're going to build a Super Skrull. Not just me, not just you, all of us. We're going to be Super Skrull. And as soon as he said that, it clicked to me, and I don't know why it took so long, but Skrull and Super Skrull definitely are a thing in the Marvel universe, and I don't know why it didn't click to me. I don't, maybe, again, this is one of those things where I didn't know much about, but I knew it existed. I knew it was a thing. I knew everything was a possibility, but I forgot the term Super Skrull. I forgot all about that. So it was definitely one of those oh shit moments, and I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm on the hook again for another week, like, here we go. And I jotted down in my notes, we talking about, Super Skrull and Vera and trust issues. I don't necessarily know that Fury trusts his wife anymore after that phone call she had, nor do I trust at this point in time that I trust that Gravik trusted Gaia. Last week we saw him moving funny, like, yo, you come with me, we gonna handle this. You just come with me, we gonna handle that. And they rode with homeboy in the back who got interrogated by the chick from London, or from Moscow, or whatever, the one with the owl. And riding out to the woods, we hear they get him out, put a bullet in his head, and Gravik was watching Gaia the whole time, like, yo, this is what happened. You fuck around, you find out. You feel me? So later in the episode, because I'm going to jump right to it, Gravik never trusted her. He never trusted Gaia. He never trusted that she was as loyal as he thought she was. It just, it didn't go good for Gaia. So as we see, we get another body drop. And I said it last week, amongst all my red shirt theories, where the black dude, he gonna be one of the first ones to go. Gaia gonna get him killed, and then I said, or Gaia's gonna get killed, and that's what's gonna send Talos over the edge. That happened. Now, Talos doesn't know this yet, but Gaia just was shot in the stomach, and this is gonna be a fucking game changer. It's gonna be a game changer because she dies. Now, Fury and Talos have already mended their broken fence, and they already talking about what they got to talk about. They squashed it. Fury, Talos made Fury apologize and all that other stuff. He didn't really apologize, but they go back so far that him saying what he said, like, yo, I need your help, blah, 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 that was an apology without saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Because they both meant what they said, but the manner in which how they said it, our time has been a week. Their time has been 24 hours. So I was pissed at you yesterday, but I just got fired. But like he told Vera, I retired, I quit. Yeah, all right, nigga. You got promoted to customer. You got promoted to civilian at that cafe. So, it's definitely one of them things where we looking at it like, about that. Talos just lost his only other relative. When this motherfucker finds out, because he like we knew what he was capable of before it happened, because the sit down with Gravik and Talos, and Gravik was prepared, bro. I thought it was because Talos recommended, not really recommended, but requested the sit down. He's like, yo, I want to parlay. Tell Gravik I want to talk to him, set it up. Public location, neutral location, or so we thought. This motherfucker said Gaia's name, and Talos reached across that table, and everybody behind him stood up and turned into a Gravik. Like, yo, this ain't what you want, player. So Talos like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, keep my daughter's name out your mouth. So he sat down, took his hands off his neck, but that conversation, it was needed and it was heated, because Gravik said one too many of the wrong thing. But of that situation, of that sit down, we saw two things. One, like I said, Talos is gonna flip. He's gonna flip the fuck out, and he might go rogue. We might see a level of Talos that we have never seen before. Honestly, ain't no might. He's gonna flip the fuck out. Especially if he find out who did it and how it happened. Like, he put his hands around his neck and told, yo, keep my daughter's name out your fucking mouth, right? But at the end of that conversation, he did it again, and Talos had enough. He picked up that knife and stabbed him right in the hand, and then choked him out and said, keep my fucking daughter's name out your fucking mouth. Right? So that happens. He said what he said in his ear, whispered a little sweet nothing, like, keep trying me, nigga. Keep trying me, and I'm gonna come back and kill everything. So, he says that, walks away. Gravik pulls the knife out of his hand in a way that's weird, but the way he heals is 100% Extremis. You can't tell me that wasn't the Extremis. The Extremis it was a combination of Groot and Extremis that healed that hand, and you can't tell me otherwise. I ain't never seen no Skrull do no shit like that. So that means Gravik already got the shit. They just trying to figure out how to mass produce it for the entire Skrull nation. Yeah, nation. We're gonna call it a nation. Now, during this sit down, when Gaia was about to drop him off, and once she dropped Gravik off for the meet, she heard the telephone call. Now, in my super spy watching days, I know, not even spy, I know that if he already suspected her, that he could have been talking to anybody to put out information to try to trap her, to see if she would snitch, right? And when he gave that little piece of information while he was on the phone and Gaia was with him, and he hung up, he went to the meet with Talos, I'm like, Gaia, don't do nothing stupid. Don't do nothing stupid. So what she do? She didn't call nobody. She didn't text nobody. She put the information on a burner phone and bumped into Talos coming out of the meet, which It didn't click to me at first. Cause I'm like, yo, that motherfucker just bumped into him and stole Talos' phone. Bop, bop, bop. It's gonna be a thing. And they mentioned later in the episode, she's smarter than that. She's pretty much smarter than the average bear. She put the information on a burner and slipped it to me. And I'm like, when the fuck did she give it to him? She was the old dude that bumped into her and say, I think this belongs to you. This belongs to you. Now, whether Talos realized it at the point or not, like, I just feel like he may have, because that goes back to my week 1 questions. Like, how the fuck do they know each other? How can they sense or smell each one is a Skrull? And if so, which Skrull that person is? So, Gravik comes out and starts following said old dude, but Talos at the same time. Talos jumps in the wheel, and he goes to the car, and Guy is just standing there waiting for Gravik to come out. So, nothing looks amiss. Nothing looks suspicious. But it just didn't look good for Gaia. And like I said, having lost Gaia, I really feel like this is gonna be a tragic but epic turning point in where this story goes going forward. I do want to touch on briefly the fact that I was right. Gaia did flip. I said last week, Gaia's gonna flip, she's gonna flip. Yeah, she flipped and got killed. Question mark. Is she dead? We'll find out next week. But is she dead? The problem I have is with Marvel, with Skrull and everything being the way it is now in the MCU, like, are you really dead? Are you really dead? Because there've been a lot of people who have died, and then a lot of people have died and came back. Definitively, I really feel like Maria Hill might actually be dead. The fact that I think Gaia transformed back into a Skrull, she might actually be dead. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, to say the least. But I really feel like, oh man, that's gonna be tragic. That's gonna be a major emotional point for Talos going forward. Just thinking about that. But going back to Fury and Talos squashing their beef, like, they squashed their beef in the bar ish. That apology was a little haphazard. It was a little half-assed, but it was, they brothers, so they family, so it was enough for Talos. But the car ride, they got to stop this nuclear launch, this missile launch or whatever. And they drive into the location, and the car ride was funny because of the banter back and forth between them two. It's clear that they're family. It's clear that they're brothers. It's clear. It feels like they're siblings, honestly, the way they were going back and forth. And Fury just let Talos go. He let him have it. He let him go and let him, like, all right, you got that. All right, that was us. That was us. We gave you the career, the life you got. That was us. Don't forget. Me and my squad deep of 20 people, my handful of people. Don't forget. And it started to get me thinking, like, yo, he right. Like, the whole Avengers initiative was started because of what the introduction of Captain Marvel and the Kree and the Skrull and all that stuff. That whole thing started because of Fury realizing there's shit outside of this universe that is outside of our control. But the car ride was funny, and it was a feel-good moment. It wasn't really an apology, but it was like, yo, you ain't gonna talk to me any old kind of way, and you ain't gonna talk to me any old kind of way. But, it took a while for Talos in his little rant to realize, yo, we here. They was going back and forth like, yo, we here. We are at the destination now. While you was doing all that, it was us shit. We here, motherfucker. I hear you, but we're here now. So shut up. Let's go. And save all that shit for after this. So they go inside, though, and there was a piece of this interrogation where they was trying to get the codes. They was trying, right before Gaia, met her demise. But they was trying to get the codes, trying to get the safe word and all of that stuff. And Fury like, yo, transform into this thing and tell him, transform into him and tell them to stop. They're like, nah, it's a code word. They probably initiated it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But there was a scene there where the dude was sitting there, Fury sitting there, and Talos is sitting across the room. Fury has a gun in his hand, and he shoots the motherfucker in the knee, right? And the whole part reminded me of Pulp Fiction, because Fury stood up and started yelling, and then he started pointing in Talos' face, get the motherfucking codes, right? That shit reminded me of Pulp Fiction. Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. Do they speak English in what? That was Pulp Fiction all over again, without the motherfuckers and without the whats. And it was a feel-good moment for me. I enjoyed it. I noticed it right away. I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt good to me. I'm pretty sure it felt good to Sam Jackson to film it again, something like that. It wasn't, an homage to Pulp Fiction or nothing like that, but it was definitely in the Sam Jackson wheelhouse. Pow! Stood up, get the motherfucking codes! Like, it just felt all Sam Jackson to me. It felt good, looked good. It was a great episode. And it was a home run for me. I really like, again, conclusion, I really feel like it's a good pace. It's going to be a lot of emotional turmoil, not with just Talos losing Gaia, but with Fury. He's going to have to find out his wife, like, what's going on, because wife get to the train station, like, she's a part of this now. She's a player. She is the inside man for Gravik. Like, she is an inside man, but even though he lost his job, he can still find out the whereabouts of Fury. Now, does that mean Mrs. Fury knew the whole time? Because I was wondering at the end of episode 1, like, how did they know Fury would be there? They said in episode 2 that it was a calculated guess, blah, blah, blah. We just assumed he might show up. All right, yeah, okay. But then to find out that his wife, who's a Skrull now, or has been, but we find out now that his wife has been a Skrull, and he's got a wife, she's a Skrull, but now she's with Gravik. I just don't trust her. I don't trust her. I don't trust her motivation, but I really feel like she's the new Gaia. To have Gaia killed out and then to factor in Mrs. Fury being a Skrull, being with Gravik, but still being on the outskirts, because the person she called, I'm pretty sure was Gravik's right-hand man, the white dude who was like, yo, we got our sources. I'm pretty sure that's who she called. She was like, yo, I need to speak to Gravik. Now, you speak to that motherfucker when you speak to him. You're dealing with me. That right there was like, yo, you on the outskirts. We can't trust you. And I think she feels that, but at the same time, I think she feels her role is bigger than what it actually is. And that's going to be a thing too, because I really feel like Mrs. Fury is going to die too. Once Fury realizes that's an issue, that's a problem, that's a thing, pretty sure Gravik is going to use that against him, just as he used Gaia against Talos. I think there's going to be a thing going forward, but we'll see next week. I'm excited. Hopefully next week we won't be in the car, but I was excited. I had to say something to y'all about it. Like, I wasn't going to let it go. I just got to say something to y'all. I'm excited. Tiny in the car, back for one time only, hopefully. And I wanted to talk to y'all about Secret Invasion, episode 3. I hope this comes out well. If not, I'm not re-recording it. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Follow me on all socials at Tiny Tim Gaming 3. At Tiny Tim Gaming 3, here on YouTube, over on Facebook, at Tiny Tim Gaming. If you see the logo, that's me. If you don't see the logo and this handsome mug, that's not me. That's not me. I'm talking about Secret Invasion right now. Yeah, I got one more thing to drop, non-Marvel related, but Secret Invasion, episode 3. Join me next week. Until next time, it's your boy Tiny.